Welcome to Rubber Duck Off-Road Garage. My name is Grant, and today we are going to be installing the VOSWITCH painless installation plug-and-play auxiliary switches. So when you open the box, it has very nice instructions. Their color, which upside down, which helps to make things easier. You have some zip ties and some other stuff in there that we'll probably need. And then you have the pack itself. So this is where, when I install the switches, so this is set up to work like a factory auxiliary switch setup in a Gladiator or a JL Wrangler. So the normal factory one only has 4 auxiliary switches. This one has 6, and it has an on-off button. But it goes in the exact same place as the stock one, and then this will be your little cubby that goes next to it. Unless you have a Rubicon, then it'll be your normal lockers selection switches there. So we'll set that over here. Actually, you know what? We'll put that inside the Jeep so it doesn't get beat up too bad out here. And then the other part is your relay and fuse bank. So inside here, if you open this up, you have relays and fuses, watertight fittings to run your wires in, and you have 6 spots to hook stuff. So I'm going to be putting this in today, and then I'm going to try to wire up my light bar and these 2 other lights that I bought. These are rigid horse. They match the light bar. These are little pod lights that'll mount down here on the lower part. And then I'm going to wire them all up hopefully today and try out this box. It has the power wire here. This is your wire that'll run inside to connect to your controller. And then I think this is if you want to run heat ignition. I'll have to check the instructions, but that's my game plan today. So I'll get started on it, and I'll kind of give you a run through of how it's supposed to be installed. Okay, so if you have a diesel like I do, you will have to switch the bracket around. So on the diesel version, it's supposed to mount right here, but your AC plug gets in the way. Well, they thought about that already, so there's a hole drilled for it, but what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to take the box itself off and turn it around, and then it'll mount right over the top of that. So that's going to be the first change you'll have to make if you have a diesel. If you have a gas, it'll be different. I'm not going to go through the gas because I don't have one, but I'll give you a quick look at what you have to do for the gas, if I can find it. So it says the power module should be mounted onto the top of the left fender. The power module is manufactured with automotive rated electronic parts. It looks like if you have the gas version, the AC line won't be there, so you won't have to turn it around. Yeah. So if you have the gas version, skip this step because you don't have to do it. I, on the other hand, have to, so I'm going to turn this around real quick, and then I'll get it mounted in the Jeep. Alrighty then, so I got the box mounted. And so here's the tricky thing. There's a bracket here on the AC lines that holds the lines from shaking around, and it connects to where one of these bolts are supposed to go. In the instructions, it looks like they take that bracket off. Well, this being a diesel and all that, and it vibrates a lot because it's a diesel engine, I don't really want to remove it because it keeps them lines from doing this. And if they rub anywhere, they're just aluminum lines, it could rub through. So what I did is I just put it on top of that bracket, and then I just mounted it down here. So it's got a little bit of an angle, but everything still clears So if you have the diesel one, I would suggest leaving that bracket in rather than taking it off, just because of the vibration. And it really does a good job at keeping them lines from moving, because when I had it off, I could push them down like 1/2 inch to 1 inch. So that's quite a bit of vibration that could be going on in there. So the next step looks like it's time to run either the power cable here, which will have to go over to the battery, along with these two. Now these work to where you can use, you only hook up the black one to the negative terminal on the battery. That's it, to the negative terminal. You don't hook it to any of your ground spots. It has to go to the negative. And then there's the red wire here, which you can put to a keyed ignition. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wire it right straight to the battery, so when I power it on, it'll stay on. When I shut the truck off, it'll stay on until I turn it off. But if you do want to wire it to keyed ignition, you would follow the instructions for this red wire. It comes with a setup, so when you put it to a keyed ignition, you can use a splitter fuse, basically, where it has the fuse, and then you plug this in where this fuse would be, and then you hook your red wire to that. And that will put it to a keyed switch. So the next step now is I might possibly try to run the controller wire in. Now I think the instructions say to go like through here and down through here. I'm going to try to find a spot inside on the firewall that I can get through. Like I feel something right there I might be able to get through. I'm going to try that, and I'll try to do my best to show you where I go with it. So I found this little plug. It goes through the firewall. It looks like if you had a manual transmission, it would be where your clutch linkage and all that goes, because your clutch would normally hook here for your clutch, for your hydraulic fluid for your clutch, because it runs off the, at least that's how my JK was, but you can barely see the hole down in there. It's right there. It's hard to see, but it goes all the way through. So what I did is I drilled a hole in the plug, and then I cut it so that I can feed the wire through. And I'm going to use this until I can hopefully find a rubber plug that'll fit that hole better, because at that point a rubber plug will be a lot easier to add more things, because the hole's pretty big, because you know your clutch setup would be decent size. So I'm going to try to feed my wire in here right now without breaking this thing. So for now it'll be just this one wire going through there like that. So I think that'll work. So I'm going to feed this wire through to the inside, and then I'll figure out how I'm going to route it, and I'll have to take the dash panel off the front there where your heater controls are, below your radio, and all your window controls for your windows and your auxiliary and stuff like that. So I'll start doing that, and then I'll show you how to take the dash stuff apart. All right, we're inside the Jeep now. I popped off the radio, air conditioning, AC, blah 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 controls. So the next one is the one that has all your window controls, your 12-volt DC pole, your media stuff, your USBs and all that. So there's a screw there that you can see, Phillips head. So we'll go ahead and pull that screw out. Now I step my stuff in the cup holder so I don't lose it. And let's see here, you can see the clips. Got a white clip there and another one over there. So try to pull those gently, or use your trim tool. Double check, make sure you got all the screws out. It's always a good idea, and it looks like they are. It's just those clips now. So I'll get the bottom one off, and then I'll show you how it's done. Okay, so I got the bottom part out. Got all the clips out. These are the clips along the bottom. And I was able to jimmy it out and twist it around, so all these other wires here are for your windshield or your window controls and your 12-volt DC and your media control. So now what we need to do is we need to remove all the screws on the box here, because this is going to be coming off. This is your little cubby that would be on the bottom. So we're going to be replacing that with our new ones. So I'm gonna go ahead and take all those out. Looks like they're like a, I don't know, 5/16 driver. So I'll get one of those and I'll get all those out and I'll replace it with the new ones. So I was way off on my guess. It's actually not 5/16, which is actually pretty big. It's 7/32, but it's off. It's out. So now you just have that. So now it's time to put this in, and then that'll go there. Kind of like that. And then the new cubby, and then that'll be installed, and then I'll just have to route the wire to it. So I'll go ahead and put those in, and then I'll figure out how I'm going to route my wiring. Alright, so I got the dash all back in. There's the switches down there. I ran my wire up through there, and now I'll zip tie all this up underneath somewhere. Then I have to go through and figure out which stickers I want to put on there for the lights. So there's like rear, side, off-road, bunch of different options they give you. So I'll work on that. First I got to finish putting this wire back up, so that's what I'm going to do right now. Better look of where I went. I just basically went up in there. So what I'll do is I'll zip tie all this extra wire like here or something so it's out of the way, and route it up in there a little bit better. And then it'll be connecting the battery power and the ground, and then we can start hooking up lights and stuff. It's not too bad. It's pretty simple. The instructions are really good. I mean, well, other than a few little things here and there, but all in all, they're pretty decent. So I will get this wire wrapped up, and then we'll move on to running the power wires under the hood. Okay, so the wires are all run. You got my ground wire here. To tuck it out of the way here with this other wire, and then my power wire, I ran them along the firewall underneath these clips here, and on the other side put them behind these. Then I tucked the big power wire down and zip tied it down. There's a fuse here, hooked it to the battery terminal, ran the ground over here, coiled up the excess, zip tied it, and then wired it up over there. So now if you come over here and you look at the switch panel, you can turn the power on, and if you push it again, it turns the power off. So I'm going to go through and look at the different stickers, figure out what I'm going to wire up, and then, well, I know I have to wire up my fog lights, so I'm going to start doing that. And then I'll show you how to program which switch does what. Alright folks, well, I have it all installed now. I have some lights hooked up. You can see the wiring. I ran the wire for the light on that side down through here. I got them all hooked in, hooked to relay switch 1 and switch 2. So I'm going to put the cover on here. Okay, got that cover on. I'll put the hood down. Alright, so we're going to put the hood down. Bear with me here. Put the hood down. There's the lights that I added. Those ones, there's one like that on the other side, and then the light bar. So, hold on a second here. If we go into the inside here, and we hit switch 1. Oh, we got to turn it on first, so hit your power button. It lights up. Switch 1 and switch 2. When we come back outside here, boom. Whew, that's bright. There's our lights. Oh, they light up the night. So if you come back in, then hit switch 1, switch 2, the lights are off, and then go ahead and turn your power switch off, and there you go. That's it. It's pretty neat little setup. I'll put the information for it in the description below. I got it on Amazon. It's less expensive than the stock Mopar ones because you can actually buy the aftermarket. Well, it's not aftermarket. You can buy the Mopar one and install it. You can get the wiring harness and the switch and put it in if you didn't get it from the factory. The difference between this one and that one is this one has 6 settings and the factory one only has 4. So if you want to run extra stuff, this is a better way to go. But I mean, it's up to you. I mean, if you want the factory look, the factory one's the way to go. Even though this looks pretty close to the factory style. I mean, the way it fits in there. So if you like the video, please subscribe to the channel. I got a little buddy coming here to say hi. It's a Marmaduke. Would you puppy? Sometimes he comes in to help. Yeah, if you like what I'm doing with the Gladiator, please subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up and stay tuned. I'm hopefully going to be getting started on the CJ project here soon, now that I'm kind of done with the Gladiator for a little while. I mean, I have a few more things to do, but not much. So thanks for watching and have a good day.